Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, commodities, ETFs that I follow. If you need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I go over individual companies, individual sectors, what I'm buying. You can basically see all of it. We also have a training session tomorrow at 8 a.m. on Thursday, Mountain Standard Time. And we do have a discount going on in the description link below. Holidays is the description, or is the coupon code. All right, so let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on with the markets today, and I can give you my financial opinions. So we're seeing a continued weakness in the dollar. Not that that was surprising by any means. We've got gigantic selling pressure days, not much of a bounce. They're basically continuation flag patterns to the downside. And that momentum is continuing to the downside. And I would expect to see weaker dollar until this sequence changes. The sequence of strong selling pressure versus very weak buying pressure. So momentum's to the downside, big down day in the dollar. 2-year yield continuing to have the strong selling pressure move. You can see all the big red candlesticks there, not much buying pressure, continuing to head lower. And that looks like that is going to continue. The 10-year also has that same type of pattern. It started right here at this bearish engulfing pattern there. We had another bearish engulfing here and another one here. We have 3 in a row. So somebody turned this thing around, put in this top here, and we are heading back lower. We are down to 3.79%, and we could be heading towards the 3.4, 3.5 level down here. So big picture view, big move up, strong selling pressure down, back to support perhaps. At about 3.4, 3.5% is a possibility. And this does have an impact on mortgage rates. 30-year yield also heading lower, and it looks like we're breaking through that support level. Not fully, but we do have a lot of support in this box here, all through here, and that's what we're going to try to get through. And right now, it is cutting through it, and it looks like we have further downside ahead of us. TYX, TNX ratio, we were slightly higher, but more or less the entire curve, 2-year, 10-year, 30-year, came down pretty much together at the same rate. So the yield curve is basically unchanged. We were basically sideways. The bond prices going on up. So people are running into bonds, or they are doing QE to bring rates down, whomever is buying the bonds. And we are seeing those bond prices continue on up for the 20-year bond ETF. And then the 2 and 10-year yield is sideways. It is sideways, cutting sideways, and the yield curve did not uninvert. Gold's up $20 an ounce, looking fantastic. Looks like it's around 2090. And this looks like, I think this is the all-time high. Is this an all-time high? I think it is for where it closed. I think this is an all-time high for where it closed. I don't think we beat this 2090-ish level. Silver up 0.7%. We're right against that trend line. I think we are going to rip it here, guys. Generally, what occurs is you come up, you hit resistance, hit resistance, hit resistance, and then you come back down. And we're come back up, hitting resistance, hit resistance, hit resistance, hit resistance. Dude, this thing's ready to go. Like, whenever you get underneath resistance and you're basically just trying to bust through that trend line or resistance, more than likely it's going to succeed. And when it breaks through it, it's going to run when it does break through. Now, we haven't broken through yet, but it looks like it's trying to. And we'll see however long it takes. It is what it is. But the more you hit it, the more pent up, it's refueled, it's rested, and it's ready to break. I'll just put it that way. Platinum's ripping, about $34 today, an ounce higher, up 3.42%. in a single day. I know we had a pretty big deficit in platinum this year, and it looks like the prices are finally starting to move. And then palladium is down 28, but we're still putting in a bottom here, guys. This is a bottom to me. Came in, bottomed out, short selling, covering. It's coming back down a little bit, and then we'll eventually work our way on up, I think. XAU to gold ratio, the gold and silver mining companies up slightly versus gold, up 0.53%. So that's looking good, and hopefully we can break through that downtrend line, guys. That is massive if we can break through that. Why is that such a big deal? Well, we've been under this trend line. It was created in 1996 at the top here, and we've been under this trend line the entire time. And last bull market, we went from 98 to the top here of 2006. That was your bull market. Very small bull market in gold and silver mining companies in a gigantic downtrend fashion. It looks to me that we've bottomed. We are coming up in our highs, and we just haven't broken the downtrend. If we break this downtrend, we could have a big, gigantic gold and silver mining boom where prices go up far, far more than what most people can imagine, because most people have been alive and have seen the market since 1996. I'm thinking that gold and silver mining companies could be similar to like the 1970s. Big bull market, big interest rate increase, and I think this is right at the beginning of a potential move. So I'm very bullish gold and silver mining companies. The CRB index, we were sideways today, down 0.13, still looks good to go higher. That's looking good. And then we've got the CRB to S&P 500, which still looks good to go higher. I'm unsure of where the S&P is going to go here in the short term. Commodities are looking strong across the board. Obviously, we'll see that. But to me, it makes me think that the S&P is going to, I don't know, not go up as much. But this ratio is still, it's low, and it's hopefully going to turn around here and break out of this gigantic flag pattern that we're in. GDX up a little bit today, about 1%. It does look like we're getting a little bit of a squeeze here. Maybe we pop down before heading higher. GDXJ has got that same type of thing, but we're above the trend line here. So this is working its way above the trend line. And maybe we come back, do another retest or something like that before ripping to the upside. SILJ also coming out of its pattern and looking fantastic. It is above it. Let's look at the dailies here. It's still working its way on up. Looking pretty good. Looks like we got a dividend coming up. Oh, that was today. Crude oil down 2.21%. We're still above. Let's go short term here. We're still above the white support line that I've got drawn in here, which basically comes to the bottom here. And then the top of this is a bottoming pattern. It's a double bottom. It's offset, which puts it into a slingshot higher. It's on a short-term time frame, so it's not as big as like a big long-term pattern. But we're coming on up, and we're still above support. Everything looks okay. And we're just waiting for this to either move sideways or higher for crude oil. TTF gas up 3.41%. Kind of a weird looking day. Momentum's definitely still to the downside, though. Strong downside momentum. Natural gas here, this still looks like it wants to go a little bit lower. We've got a strong downside momentum move, and this here is a flag pattern that looks like it wants to break to the downside and go a little bit lower. If weather doesn't turn around here and get cold, it's been pretty warm weather during this winter. We're not drawing down natural gas inventories. There'll be bearish natural gas. XOP, yeah, you know me, down a little bit today. We're still above this kind of resistance area there. We've obviously broken that downtrend line there too. To me, it looks like it's trying to put in a bottom. We need crude oil to work its way on up, and then I think you'll see XOP, our boy XOP, work its way on up. OIH down about 1%. We're still above a lot of this support coming through here. It looks almost like an inverted head and shoulders that we've broken. But again, we need crude oil And we need crude oil to really start picking up if we want this to go higher for OIH. But we're towards the bottom end of the channel. It still looks good. We could definitely do a double, some sort of bottoming, something like that, if it decides to do that. But it still looks good. Still working its way on up in that channel. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust. Where is this thing going? Are we going to actually get a pullback here? We're still going up in this rising wedge. Generally speaking, this generally breaks to the downside. Rising wedges generally do. URA, a little bit of selling pressure. We do have a bearish engulfing here. Came back up. It's not quite a bearish engulfing, but it still could lead to a bearish outcome. So we could see a little bit of a pullback in URA. URNM is getting a little selling pressure. It's not a reversal candlestick though, so we're obviously up against resistance here, and we'll see what happens. This is a tough read here. URNJ also, it's not a reversal candlestick, but you do have a bearish engulfing here and here. You got one here too, and one here. They're there, so this could push lower if the sellers want to push this thing. But yeah, we'll see. Give it some time. TAN working its way on up. It still looks all right. We're back above the resistance support level, which is this big white line there. So we basically use this as support and are coming back up. So it looks good. COPX up 1%. This looks fantastic. I think we're going to start running here. A lot of the diversified miners look great. Copper's going on up. Lithium down a little bit, but this looks like a bottoming pattern, guys. We got a bullish engulfing here and here. That looks good to go higher. So this is basically the opposite of the uranium stuff. Uranium looks like it's a little top heavy. Lithium and all these other ones look like they're bottoming and starting to try to turn higher. REMX, same thing. Bullish engulfings there. Looks like it's trying to put in a bottom and turn higher. S&P 500, it's continuing to go up barely, and we're up against resistance. So we'll see what happens here. Are we going to continue higher, or are we going to turn over and roll over? That's yet to be determined. And the NASDAQ's in the same, very similar situation. Not the same situation, but it's similar. KRE, this is the regional banking ETF. Double bottom looks good to go higher. Definitely strong. Looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. I would be a buyer all through here. Emerging markets looks good. Weaker dollar, weaker yields. This is going to work its way on up. That looks good. XHB, lower mortgage rates. We are at all-time highs here. Everyone on YouTube's telling me that we're in this gigantic bubble. We're going to crash. We got to build the homes, guys. So before that crash, we're going to overbuild, and that may take a couple of years, in my opinion. So mortgage rates are going to come back down. We're going to see a boom in housing, and home builders are going to be benefactors of that, and this is why it's going higher. Moo looks good. Looks good here. Looks like it wants to try to move to the upside. We're up a little bit, and I still think we are going higher. I like the big green candlesticks all in here with not much selling pressure. To me, someone's accumulating it. And we got bullish engulfing, looking pretty good. Copper is looking good, 1.36%, working its way on up. We've broken the downtrend. There's your downtrend line, broken to the upside, and here we are moving on up. Looks good. FEF, iron ore is looking good. We're down 0.22%, but bigger picture view, guys, to me, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we are going to rip somewhere to the motherland because that's a Livermore accumulation cylinder. The projected price of this falling wedge here is this white line up here at 218. But I don't think it's going to stop there. I think it's going to keep going. Looking at aluminum just ripping today, 3.1% today. And look at that move, guys. Short squeeze is on. Aluminum is in a deficit, and another one that looks similar to previous patterns, and I think this is going to go way up. And I think we're running deficits in aluminum in 2024. Looks fantastic for opportunities, for investments, and we are in those investments for the website. They've been crushing it. Some of them up over 100% in a month or so from their bottom. Baltic Dry Index up 0.34%. I'm looking at this on the weekly, and I think this is going to go up with copper, with coal, with aluminum, and all these different things that we're going to be shipping around. Steel, iron ore, they're all going up. So Baltic Dry Index, I'm still bullish on it, given where iron ore and all those other ones are at. Newcastle coal looking really good. So we've got a bullish engulfing here and here. We pulled on up. We've got a reversal candlestick there, which brings on back. And then we can see how the opening and closing prices are getting smaller. So you can see opening and closing, opening and closing. Those are getting smaller and smaller. And I think we're going to work our way on up very soon. We could put a reversal candlestick here where it gaps down and then you get a bullish engulfing, or you can even put that's really the wick. You can get a wick on the bottom here where it's a little wick on the bottom, which is a hammer candlestick. Something like that's probably coming, and then we'll work our way on up. We've got support underneath us. We've got bullish engulfings there. That looks really good. And here's your base, your breakout, and then your retest here. And this is where I would be buying, is that retest. Bitcoin continues to work its way on up. It looks very bullish to me. We've got a bullish candlestick, 2.44%. This to me indicates that liquidity is coming in the market, and gold is also signaling that. Ethereum is also along for the ride. Big bullish engulfing today. It looks like it wants to go higher. You can see the continuation pattern that we got, the breakout, the retest, and then the move higher. So still looks good across the board there. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Give me subscribe to the channel if you guys want. We've got a training session tomorrow at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're part of the community, you can join, and I'm going to go over a whole bunch of different stuff. It's basically giving you the big picture to get that conviction upwards, to hold on to these stocks in certain sectors or whatever. I'll give you examples. I'm not going to go over absolutely everything that I know. It's going to take way longer than a few hours, but you'll get the gist of it. You'll get the big picture view. You'll get to see why I'm so bullish on a lot of these different sectors. You'll get to see the things I look at. So that's what I've got. We'll see you at 8 a.m. Tomorrow. If you're a member and you want to join the training, it will be recorded. Don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. I'll record it and I'll also put it. You guys can ask me questions as we go. It's going to be open, kind of an open format. So that's what I've got for today, guys. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.